enough Secret Sasquatch Society gathering in any
Well,
future series.
And it was such an interesting idea.
And then we get like a bit more of a flavour of what the overall sort of purpose of Sasquatches or nature of Sasquatches is. There seems to be something quite mysterious about it. With Nigel involved, they sort of alluded to some sort of overarching purpose of ways they're looking after all of the Sasquatches and other weird shit.
And the devil.
So
Maybe
yeah,
that
the
could be
devil
in
was
Wayno's show. It's like Wayno seems to be the only Sasquatch that's around recently, because Donnie was in like prehistoric times, Scruffy was in like the Ice Age, but Wayno was in prison, like in Area 51.
That must have been
Wayno's-
around, what, like
So
the
maybe-
50s, 60s, no?
Yeah, that's like the most like recent. None of the other Sasquatches were anywhere near people.
But Wayno's older than the other Sasquatches. So where
That's
was
the
he
thing,
before?
maybe- That could be explored, like the Secret Sasquatch Society in like the next one in Wayno's series.
that would be a
Probably
fucking
come from another
brilliant
planet.
series.
Maybe Wayno's the one that introduced Sassy and the others to the Secret Sasquatch Society.
Mm.
Like Sassy would already know about it, but like the others wouldn't.
What
Yeah.
if Seth inadvertently started it?
That I would expect.
Yeah.
But
Just randomly teleports them all together and it's just like, here you go, boy.
Didn't mean to do that.
And then they just thought, fuck it, we'll do this again. I like it. I think there's a lot of potential with the Secret Sasquatch Society.
maybe Wayno was like a war veteran or something. There was a war between Sasquatches and humans. Because he did say they thought that Wayno was the last one, because I think the general comments on there being another Sasquatch.
Would you? Kind of strange. Well, I don't know. Remember that big, aggressive Sasquatch that Les killed? No, did he?
Warning guy killed him.
Yeah,
Cecil.
you're right. Yeah, Cecil. That's it. He didn't look like any other Sasquatch that I've ever seen. Like, animated completely different. And I could see, like, if there were tons of Sasquatches like Cecil, I could see that being a real fucking big problem.
Maybe like Wayno used to know Cecil.
That would be
So they went-
interesting.
They both were like used to be violent, but Wayno seems more dejected now. He seems very apathetic, Wayno.
Cunt.
There's so many characters that there's so many places this show can go. It's amazing.
Yeah, I just think it's unfortunate that. Well, I guess he does have the time for it, but by the time he finishes up with everything he might want to do, he'd be bloody 50 years old.
Yeah, but I'm willing to wait.
Yeah, I'm willing to wait.
I could see him doing this as you said, until he's like 50, just keep belting them out. Like the guy who
If I
does
would go
Calvin
out-
Hobbes, he just did them for as long as he lived, didn't he?
I do not ever see him selling the rights to the show or the characters.
No. But when
Or even-
if he ever died, it would go with him. Like he wouldn't. Like it's still just him that animates. He doesn't get like other people to animate, does he?
No, it's just him, completely him. He occasionally gets people. Like nowadays, he sometimes has other people come in and do voices. But
As
yeah,
well, he has,
he's
I think
doing
one
all
of
the
his
animation.
mates helps with some of the backgrounds.
Yeah, I think so.
At some point, I reckon there'll be some streaming service out there that will reach out to him with a contract and grant him full creative license. And at that point, I reckon he'll go on a streaming service.
Yeah, if he gets complete control over it, I think he will at least consider getting a team to help him speed up the animation process.
But yeah, would he do something in the Big Lez Show universe or something like just completely different but with the same kind of style?
I think he probably will eventually.
I would hope
Yeah.
for Big Lez content too.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see something Big Lez, but I'm curious to see what something just completely different from the Big Lez Show would be.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it'll come. Everyone gets burnt out
Yeah.
from doing the same thing over and over again. So I can almost guarantee we'll see something different at some point. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah.
Because like the Big Lez Show is what he gathered his fan base on, and of course everyone wants to see more Big Lez, but I imagine he's not pumping it out as quick as he used to, and I feel like he's trying to not let himself get burnt out, and that's why he's doing it a bit slower.
Well, that's why
He
I think
travels.
he's doing. Yeah, that's why I think he's doing like very different. Like Sassy the Sasquatch was very different to how Big Les or Mike Nolan's show was.
Yeah.
I think he's just trying to experiment with different types of storytelling with the same characters.
Yeah. But I definitely think completely different sort of scenario from him would be inevitable one day.
I'm just curious to see what he would do. But what would he do if he would just start again? Like, kind of.
I think the flavour of every show would be different from
the
character was in it. It would be similar to like the MCU, whereas each main character's individual TV show sort of is a completely different style of show. It might be more serious or more comedic or more childish or more outrageous, depending on which character it is. But then when they all get together, it sort of meshes evenly.
That would be really cool to see. Like he ends up with like an Avengers type series.
That's exactly what he said, boys. You hit the nail on the head precisely.
Oh,
because the Sassy show is like much more not serious as such, but it's a lot more introspective and a lot more thought-provoking and a lot more emotional in a sense. Mike Nolan's series by himself was a lot of Mike Nolan sort of humour. It was tradie stuff. It was that sort of thing. And yeah, Big Les is sort of like a mashup of all of it. So I think
Big Lez Show was more of an action, like slice of life type of thing.
Yeah, it had obvious parallels, to like Predator and Shimmer Island. There was elements of, what's that Japanese one, Battle Royale? There were elements of that I sort of saw in Shimmer Island as well. I see what you're saying, Tom, and yeah, it did kind of feel a little bit more action movie sort of homaged in some ways than maybe the Mike Nolan show did, which kind of felt to me a little bit more like The Office in a weird way. Again, that sort of mockumentary style.
It felt
backs up what Chief is saying. Like each series is kind of bringing its own flavour and gives Jared a different opportunity to explore things in a different, refreshing way. But overall, it follows into what you said to me, which is everything is all interconnected and plays part of a big meta story that sort of builds up and will culminate.
That would be amazing to see. What do you reckon, like, the villain or, like, the antagonist would be like? Would there be an antagonist?
I think it will be Les.
I reckon, like, I don't know if he's going to keep bringing back Les, because I think this one was, like, just a final send-off in the Sassy the Sasquatch show.
Yeah, that was closure for us.
Yeah.
It did feel like closure, didn't it?
And if he is an MCU fan, he'd know that you can't just bring back characters after killing them, because then it loses the effect of, if they died once, they can die a million times.
I think he'll be more of a cameo with like flashbacks.
Yeah, if he comes back, he'd be more of a cameo, similar to what future Quentin was for Les.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Like maybe like Quentin has a vision where Les comes to him in the same manner.
We'd have to see something really sort of earth-breakingly crazy as well. It'd have to be something like maybe the celestial Sasquatch version of Sassy gets killed somehow, and that would be the trigger for some sort of crisis, Avengers level response. I don't know.
What if it was like an evil Sassy?
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Like a version of Sassy that was sent off into a universe but became evil instead.
He corrupted.
Yeah, became corrupted.
The god version of Sassy got too intoxicated while trying to split off a version of himself.
Exactly.
Like an anti-Sassy, a corrupted Sassy.
Because how would you fight Sassy? Because like no one really fights Sassy in the series, but how would you actually go about trying to beat him? Like not even the Sasquatch, they're not the fucking tumors haven't even ever attacked him really.
Did the aliens push him out of the ship when they took his
No,
weed?
they kind of just pushed. They guided him out because I think he had handcuffs on.
He does it. He just sort of goes with the flow. I don't know if he'd actually recognised that someone was being hostile towards him.
Yeah. But like the tumors that grab onto Les, none of them have ever even touched Sassy.
I think
I
Sassy
mean,
is
they've lunged at
genuinely
him,
like,
but
But like, that means how would you go about fighting him if you can just you just can't do anything to him? You can do
Do
some
you
fucking
reckon?
magic shit to get out of it.
just
you
a
know what I
clone.
think this calls for? I think we're gonna need Deadpool to fight him. Fucking
Fourth wall.
no, I don't know. I don't.
He gets Ryan Reynolds to voice himself that Sassy brought in, not realizing that he wasn't actually Deadpool.
I mean, it's one step closer to reality.